Welcome everyone. I would like to read excerpts from my latest novel entitled A Particular Passing Through Time, which is now available at lulu.com and on my website at lvau.com. Anyway, I'd like to read a few pieces from this novel, and as far as the setting, basically this is a story of an individual life. And the main character, Anthony, is basically found dying from a terminal illness, and as a result of the medications and the state of his existence, he retreats periodically into his past. I'd like to first read from his memories as a boy. He watched with utter fascination as his mother grappled with the great ceramic tub of the washing machine. She meticulously loaded this machine with dirty clothes and bed linens and turned it on. Its huge rotor came alive like a great howling sea creature. It churned the water furiously, throwing wisps of foam momentarily into the air. The kitchen floor shook under its power. Above the tub was a pair of wooden rollers. These rollers were turned by a big wooden handle. When the clothes were washed, she picked up each piece heavy with water, and with her extraordinarily muscular arms wrung out every last drop. Then she carefully fed the fabric into the rollers and turned the handle until it passed completely through to the other side. When all the clothes were processed in this way, they were ready to be hung. The hanging of the clothes was a remarkable ritual as seen through the eyes of a young child. She grasped each item from the huge pile of washed clothes and leaned over the ledge of the open kitchen window. She withdrew one of the wooden clothespins from a canvas bag and placed another between her teeth. She then gingerly draped the item of clothing over the clothesline and pinned it. Before hanging the next item, she advanced the clothesline just enough to make room for it. She repeated this procedure until the line was full. Every time the line moved, the ceramic pulley squealed under the ever-increasing weight of the heavy, wet fabric. The clothesline stretched all the way across the concrete backyard to the pole that serviced all the tenement clotheslines. On hot summer days, the vivid array of clothing hanging in the breeze offered some intimate insights into the lives of the people who wore them. Men's boxer shorts, women's apparel, towels, diapers, dresses, and pants, they all hung like colorful banners celebrating humanity and all its ceaseless diversity. Anthony looked out the window and marveled at his mother's handiwork. He was fixated by the variety of color and texture that hung from those lines. In the winter, the clothes were hung from the clothes hanger that was suspended from the kitchen ceiling. Anthony was fascinated by these gadgets, for they were the landmarks of his universe. Sometimes he watched his mother when she was in the bathroom. The bond between them was so intimate that in many ways they were one person. She showed no reluctance in exposing her body to him. He would often see her bare-breasted. This vision of his mother etched itself deeply into his heart. This love also created an insatiable longing in him. This bond is the starting point of love. Without it, life is a wholly unsatisfactory experience. Whenever she caught him looking so intently at him, she was equally overcome by deep and tumultuous feelings. On one such occasion, she came to him and closed him in her embrace. It was then that he felt the warm radiance of her flesh and the limitless depth of her feelings for him. In spite of this attachment to his mother, Anthony was unable to really make contact with her. There was a gulf that separated them, a yawning, cavernous void that kept her apart from him. This left an insatiable sense of incompletion within him that he could not extinguish. His childhood was permeated with a constant state of aloneness. He was building a great fortress around himself. The separateness he felt engulfed him within its shadowy embrace. At such a young age, he was unable to free himself from its grasp. I would now like to read a section that shows the state of consciousness of this dying man. As these thoughts cavorted in the dying man's mind, he was catapulted from memory to memory. At one moment he would be steeped in the momentous angst of his childhood, then to the chaos of street games where he could feel the particularly spongy texture of the Spalding ball resting in his hand, or the wooden stick as he swung it trying desperately to make a hit. Suddenly he could feel his legs take flight as he ran from a cherry bomb after it had been lit. In this netherworld of recollections, place and time had no apparent continuity. Next, he found himself in the middle of a Vietnamese jungle pursuing an enemy he couldn't see, or cradled in the voluptuous arms of sweet Jeanette. These thoughts would last only as long as it took the appropriate synapses to fire in his beleaguered brain. One image supplanted another in quick succession. These remembrances were like tiles that interlaced together to form a wondrous mosaic that was representative of his life. All these inner adventures, as disorienting as they might appear, were far better than being thrust once again into the all-consuming pain of his present situation. Periodically, as the incessant pain engulfed him, he opened his eyes to the present, only to long for the comfort of the past, where his body was reliable and a trusted vehicle for experiencing life. Sometimes, when he was jolted back into the stark reality of his dying, he could hear the soft, reassuring words of Jeanette. "How are you doing?" she would ask, trying her best to sound optimistic. On these occasions in which he was particularly lucid, he would answer, "I guess I'm doing okay for a dying man." This was meant to simply convey the reality of his situation. Other times he would incoherently yell out, "I can't swim, the river is too wide. The ball is lost, I've lost the ball." This kind of response severely distressed Jeanette. She knew that he needed to be medicated. After he was given a fresh batch of his pain and anti-anxiety pills, he could return once again to the sanctuary of the universe of his past. Thank you for listening. It's been a pleasure for me reading this to you, and if you're curious and want to learn more, please purchase the book. Thank you.